that's happening. And now I'm going to go over
No, no, no,
and
no. This one.
live stream
Wait, wait,
on our
wait, wait.
YouTube.
Okay.
All right. What's
Javan
the count?
in there.
Uh, hmm.
We good?
Oh
How are you
no.
doing so far? Can you
It
hear?
forgot, it forgot the, hang on a second.
Uh-oh. Well, maybe I can make more.
You know, you have to log into things every once in a while.
Not me, man.
I'm not sure this is the right password. Ah, now we're going. Okay. Everyone act cool.
That's you know.
We're going for unlisted. Go live.
Would you like some more couscous?
All right, we are now recording, and here we are again for another episode of the Family Gift, starring Javan.
Oh, now, Javan. This is me, Javan. And I got a pat on the shoulder there.
Nice.
So anyway, was talk about a little bit about the families and my mother's side uh, from North Carolina. And I grew up with a great grandmother, Jemima Sedbury, um, and she married David Montgomery Bostick, so she was known as Jemima Sedbury Bostick, and that was back in the days when you could homestead farms, and they homesteaded a farm there. Lo and behold, guess what the name of the road was? Sedbury Road. So they have homesteaded this property, this land. They took, the government took it away from the Indians and put it up for homesteading, and so uh, they they homesteaded it. And by the time I came on the scene, uh, it was my great grandmother Jemima Sedbury Bostick, married to my great grandfather David Montgomery Bostick, and he was named after the county. The county was Montgomery County, so he ended up with the middle name of the county. Um, people asked well, where did he get the name? And well, fairly the simple answer is they named it. He gave him the middle name of the county.
Hmm.
And I don't know why they did that, but that's what they did. So they were married. Jemima Sedbury was married to David Montgomery Bostick, and they homesteaded land. Well, I'm sure it wasn't called Sedbury Road at the time, but they named it Sedbury Road, and there's where their farm was. And they did a lot of farming. Uh, Jemima, my great grandmother, and David Montgomery, my great grandfather, on my mother's side, were farmers. They did a lot of farming there, and they had a lot of things that they grew, and they had a lot of people that they hired to help them.
It's 150 acres.
So about 100, maybe 100 acres or more, and so that they had a going concern farm, a good farm and good land, and they had a nice stream that was running through it, and so they had water. And of course, you don't need water in North Carolina because it rains every afternoon when you need it. But they still had it was good for drinking water. They had a spring and stuff like that. So it was it's a pretty great thing. And uh, he he evidently was kind of a good organizer and a good farmer, and um, did lots of great things. He built a house there. They called it in the county, they called it the big house. Uh, and it was the first house that ever got painted. So that was a big novelty in the county. that the so the big house and the painting was something that was always noted about that house. So it was a big
White, it was white.
huh,
It was white.
white. It was white. Yeah, it was painted white, and it was a big house. Really, I went down there sometimes, um, and they had two children, uh,
Three.
Jemima and David. They had three children, two children, three children. Let's see, three children. Yeah, they had Indy and Jean and Dewey. Dewey, they had Dewey. Yeah, I remember Dewey. Dewey, Jean, and Indy. Indy was uh, my grandmother. Um, and so her her name was Jemima too, Indy Jemima Bostic. And the and Dewey was her brother, and Eugene was her brother. And they grew up in that house together with David Montgomery and Jemima. And then he died, and my great grandmother Jemima Sedbury Bostic had helped him a lot with the farm and running the farm and organizing the farm. So she was a pretty good farmer. So she was able to carry on after he died with this farm. And eventually, my that then eventually I'll tell you some more about that. But
Can you tell them what she looked like?
oh, well, my great grandmother Jemima Sedbury Bostic was 6'4".
Mhm.
And that's because she was a Sedbury. The Sedburys were all very tall people, and my great uncle, her brother, his name was George Sedbury, and he was a little bigger. He was a little taller than that. He was maybe 6'5", very big. Uh, he wasn't heavy, but had big shoulders and big arms, and he was a farmer also. He had uh, homesteaded approximately 60 to 100 acres way back in the backwoods between Candor, where I grew up, and Troy, which is the capital of the county seat of the county. And his farm was off the road, and the little road that connected Candor and Troy was small, and so that wasn't too much traffic. But he had a little road that right close to Macedonia Church, that if you knew it was there, you could turn into it. But it wasn't that noticeable when you were driving by if you didn't know where it was. And he lived there with my great aunt Eliza, and they had two children. They had Tom and Joanne, and they lived back in the woods there where they homesteaded this farm, and they grew, if you name it, they grew it. Chickens, hogs, ducks, just like my great grandmother Bostic. And then they had corn and all kinds of vegetables and stuff, and they put them up for the winter, and they didn't have electricity, and they didn't have running water. They just built this house out there and lived in it for their whole life. And we would go there maybe 2 or 3 times a year, and George had a wagon and a mule. He had several mules, but he had a wagon and a mule that he could go into town and get supplies and bring it back. And he would bring that wagon out to, well, there was a river, a big creek that ran between the road and his place and where he lived. And he had to go over a river, but it had to be low enough that his wagon wouldn't float away. But we would go in the summer when it wasn't too much rain, just at 3:30 in the afternoon. And then so he would come and he would get his sister, my great grandmother Jemima Sedbury Bostic, and put her on the wagon. And he had a chair a square back chair that he had anchored down on the wagon, and then he put her on there and put his son next to him, to her, to make sure she didn't fall out when they went through the river.
Creek, yeah.
The river. So, and then the children ran along beside. I was a child running along beside, and then we got to the river. George had cut a tree and fell it over the river, and had gone in with a fro kind of tool and flattened the log out on top so he could walk across it in the winter when the river was high. And we would all run across that log when we were going to their house. And when we got there, there would be lots of tables, and all the relatives would come in, and it would be a big party, and we'd have a good time, and we'd play with Tom and Joanne and the other children, and they had a place on this farm was called the Gullies, and it was about, I guess it was maybe 10, 12 acres of gullies, just incredibly red clay gullies, and the gullies were washed away, and they washed away black square minerals, something that was shiny, kind of slaty looking, and we would collect them in our pockets and take them home with us. We would all have these square minerals from the gullies. So it was always a highlight of the trip out there to go to the gullies, and we would probably spend, an hour out there together playing and collecting square minerals. And then we went back, and they would have a big party, and it was quite interesting. They took care of. They just were pretty much. They grew everything, and they put up everything that they ate. What they ate is what they grew, and what they put up for the winter. And that was how they lived their whole life. And he was also really bright red hair and freckles, and a very what you might say, competent, organized, together guy. he knew what he was doing, what he had to do, and how to do it. So he was a pretty inspirational person for a little kid like me, 8, 10 years old, just like, 6 years old, 7, 8 years old. Like, this is pretty amazing person. It was like a giant sort of thing. And to see how they lived, it was really very organized and very amazing, wonderful thing. So that was my great uncle George, which is a sister to my great grandmother Jemima Sedbury Bostic. And so my great grandmother Bostic was a good farmer too, and so she had a lot of, I guess, some of the background that George had, of course, and so they both evidently learned from their fathers how to do it. And so when things started happening, and my great grandfather died, and my great grandmother had to take over the running the farm, and she did. And
Could you tell them what she wore and about killing the chicken?
oh, she made dresses out of seed bags. seeds that would come that you'd plant in the garden, well, the farm, lots of seeds, and they're big. They were like 50-pound ones, really big, and she would have to have. Most people could make a dress out of one, and she had to have two, at least two, to make a dress, and so she was a pretty big person, um, and pretty.
Chickens?
Oh my gosh, chickens! She grew chickens. She grew. She had a. She ended up with a small part of the farm, maybe 10 acres or so, plus another four, but across the creek, and she grew her food too, and she had hogs, and she had chickens, and she had ducks, and for the ducks she collected the down from them and made pillows and mattresses. So she slept on a goose down uh, mattress, and everybody had goose down pillows that she had plucked off the goose or off the ground, and then she had all kinds of vegetables, and she had a big smokehouse she built, and she smoked pork there, and kept fruit vegetables in there and stuff. It was a big operation that she ran there pretty much at the end by herself, up there that she cut off from the rest of the farm. Um, so it was an interesting couple of people. George, great uncle George, and great grandmother said Mary Bostic. She's just a pretty impressive person. She had goats. She milked goats. She had goat milk, and it was very interesting.
Yeah. Giovanni, what year are we talking about? What year? Do
Oh
you know
gosh, I would probably earliest I probably remember is when I was maybe 6 or 7,
Mm-hmm.
and in 8, 9, 10.
So early
But
50s.
6 years
Early
old,
50s. Mhm.
10 years old. All of this I told you happened in
Yeah.
that time frame. So that would have been
Yeah.
59, 50,
Definitely an unusual woman in the 50s.
40, 40, 49 to
Yeah, she
50.
sounds like a pioneer woman.
Mainly the
Right.
50s. Yeah, the 50s.
And
And it's interesting that both the Bostics and George Sedbury both had homesteaded this property, and they both of them did. And interesting,
Very.
how
how,
they
how old were you when she died?
my great grandmother Bostic. I was probably
12, I think, or 10.
11,
Okay, to 11.
maybe 11.
Well, she lived a good long time.
Yeah, maybe.
What year was she born?
It's written down somewhere. I don't
Oh.
know. She was pretty old when I came along.
Yeah.
Justin might have some of that, huh? We don't really even know how to spell Jemima.
Yeah.
We have some things, but they don't all match up what you're saying. So
Oh,
we have, and I mean, I think I went down who knows, but we had her
date of birth is September 24th, 1876.
Hmm.
oh,
Oh, 1876.
that's right when my grandmother Kitty was born.
Oh, wow.
Huh.
like 19.
My great grandmother was born.
She passed May 5th in 59.
59.
She died in
Yeah.
59.
Yeah, you were 12 or
Yeah.
11. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
We
that
have-
matches.
It shows that she was married to Reverend Eugene Bud Bostick.
Wow. Did you ever know that person? Reverend,
Yeah.
Who?
Reverend Eugene Bostick.
No, never heard of him.
Wow. Her husband was named David Montgomery Bostick.
Weird.
Yeah, there's some.
She has a
That's
son.
yeah. So I gotta go back. I gotta go back to Kitty and see if I can I can track back there because we've got some of the names.
Okay.
Some similarities, but they're not like that's
But
what he keeps looking
yeah,
at. He's
I'm
like,
I'm
wait.
following as you're giving the rendition of who's married to who and brothers and sisters. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute.
Uh-oh.
Like you have, yeah, there are some definite General Hospital soap opera stuff. No wonder your mother loves it. We had Edna Bostic married to Daniel J. Stewart.
Okay, that's Javan's grandmother.
Indy,
Okay, that's right. ENDA.
yeah, ENDA.
Yeah.
People called her Indy,
Indy.
but it was ENDA. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said Indy, so that's good to know how to
Yeah.
spell it. Yeah, I was thinking.
ENDA, and she had a middle initial of O and Stuart Moore.
Maybe Moore was her maid.
Yeah, she married him much later in life.
Oh, God.
After
Okay.
Gran left him, she married him and moved to Siler City, I think.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, Moore. She married a Moore later.
Or Moore. He was a mechanic at the Pontiac garage.
Gotcha. Okay.
Well, that's not too far. We're not too far
No,
off.
we're close.
I don't know who Reverend was, but that's
Yeah.
a good story there somewhere.
Yeah.
So I
How do they spell Jemima on that your thing?
I'm pulling it up. I found a death certificate for Jemima Sedbury, and they have it as Botsie, Botsie. But when you zoom in and look at the penmanship, it could be C.
Yeah,
Yeah, Bostic.
Yeah, that's correct.
That's the way they spelled it.
And Dewey Bostic from Bisco, North Carolina, was the informant.
But that's where they have Eugene Bostic as her husband.
Oh no, Eugene.
Yeah, and her father, her mother was Nancy Livingston.
Nancy Livingston. Yeah, I
Who's that?
remember a Livingston, but
Whose
I don't
mother?
remember first name.
Okay,
Who was Livingston married to?
Livingston was married. Nancy Livingston married Martin Sedbury, and that was the parents of Jemima.
Oh, oh,
And they wanted to know how to spell Jemima.
They have it on the death certificate as Jemima.
oh, like Jemima. And I looked that up because we've always seen that as a black name,
Yeah.
Jemima, and it means dove in Hebrew. Oh, are you going nine? Or we're just waving.
And Javan, where did you say she lived? It has her residence as no address, but Old Troy Road in Bisco, North Carolina.
Old Troy Road. The
Clap.
property that they had joined Old Troy Road on one border,
Got it.
and then it went perpendicular straight out after that. From Old Troy Road. Yeah. The Old Troy Road,
So stomping feet.
that was the boundary for the property.
Clapping hands. Clapping hands.
Kelsey, you're not muted.
Hmm.
It
Sorry.
was pretty. It sounded real pretty.
So it was Old Troy Road, and then it was went out, and then it went down more towards Sedbury Road, which was more north.
Mhm. Oh, there's Eugene.
East.
So
I guess it would be east.
I was able to pull up the old newspaper, and it has her obituary.
Uh-huh.
Jemima Bostic Troy.
Hmm.
Jemima Bostic, 80, died at home in Bisco today. She was survived by daughter Miss Edna Stewart Moore, two sons Dewey and Eugene Bostic, both of Bisco, 11 grandchildren, 6 great grandchildren, one sister, Miss Elza Green of Bisco, Eliza.
Oh,
One brother, George Sedbury of Route 1 Candor, and the funeral services will be held at 2 p.m. at the Bisco Baptist Church, and burial at the Pleasant Grove Cemetery near Troy.
Oh,
Oh, sure. Wow.
mhm.
Anyway,
Yeah, that's
Oh.
pretty cool.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I thought you were
In
on
the
TikTok
vicinity.
there,
We're
Justin,
close.
but I see what you were doing now.
Yeah, this is from my memory of knowing these people and visiting them and being with them.
Was Troy part of a family name?
No.
Yeah,
Maybe that was just like the town.
it is a town.
Yeah,
It's the county seat.
maybe that was Town.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, in the obituary.
And then there was a little road.
we were not trying.
Yeah, there was a little road from Troy to Candor, and that's the road that great Uncle George had his farm on. That road. It was a fun road to drive. um, anyway, that was the. Well, thank you for that extra information. I remember Livingston, but I don't remember her. I didn't remember her first name, but I don't think I ever met her. These are only people I met that I can talk about and
Mhm.
remember.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, the other thing that I loved you telling about, your Aunt Jemima, she was so big. And when it was time to cook chickens for dinner, she'd go out and get her two hens and pick them up by the neck and stand there and go like this, right around,
No,
or like that, and
no,
then
no,
whop to
that's
break their neck.
not quite actually. But she would stick one under her arm like that and hold it, and she would snap the neck of the other chicken like that, and it would go flying out in the field. And then the other chicken was watching her,
I go like,
and she would grab the other one, and then to do the same thing, and there'd be two chickens jumping around in the yard.
Javan was a little boy watching this 6'4" woman with these two chickens.
I better be good.
Oh, I
She
thought
had a
that's
billy
right.
goat too, and that was a couple of billy goats.
Oh, and tell them about the tracks and Javan still owns this little piece of land there that we don't know what to do with because there aren't any more North Carolina relatives.
Yeah,
But on that piece of land, there
yeah,
was
it's 3 acres left over from what they homesteaded. And the Pekin Road, there's a little town called Pekin that the road came all the way from Pekin to Bisco. And that property, the road is right on the edge of the property. And it's about, when we were there, maybe 5 feet deep. About five, the wagons, they just had wagons, horses and wagons. And the wagons wore it down over the years till it was 5 feet deep.
but wasn't it part of the trail?
Yeah, the trail from Pekin to Bisco.
Mm-hmm.
And then people would stop at my great grandmother's and she would feed them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, evidently she had a lot of food, right? So she would just feed them and they go on. But they tell stories about the different people that stopped.
Yeah.
That was fun. But yeah, and then the other part is that my great grandmother Sudbury Bostic, she ended up with all this farm and everything, and she had Eugene and Dewey and Indy as children, and
They all lived there. And they all lived there.
and they all lived there and had the big house, and they all were there helping, but my great grandmother had workers that worked the farm, so they didn't do that much, but they evidently they had to work on it. But anyway, so what happened is my great grandmother was in the big house and she was running the farm, and Dewey went off to a town, Seagrove, and brought home a wife into the big house. And
They're already married.
already married. And my great grandmother sized her up. You know what that means? She did a psychoanalysis of her on the spot. And she decided that evidently she relied very heavily on her abilities to size people up. So she sized this person up, and she immediately started making plans to get out of the big house. And she started splitting the property up, and she split a big hunk of it up where she then built a house, and then she and Mindy moved into it.
And Eugene moved away.
And Eugene moved away, and Dewey hung around down at the big house because he'd married this person.
Whose name was?
I won't tell you the name. It's a really bad name.
Okay.
But they say if you mention a name, they live longer.
Oh.
Anyway, so she sized her up, and she divided the farm up, and then she built a house, and then she and Indy moved into it. And Eugene moved to town. He got a job working at the foundry, and Dewey stayed in the big house with this person that he married. And then my great grandmother started farming at the property she cut off and took for herself, and left Dewey down there with the wife that he brought home. And Dewey never learned how to farm, so he did not know anything about it. The only people that ever farmed the farm that was left was Dewey's children, and they were a long way in ahead to be able to farm, 10 years at least out before any kid could farm anything. So there was this time where my great grandmother was up there carrying on, and Dewey was down there with his wife, and
There's 6 children. They
And
had
they-
6 children.
and they had 6 children, and eventually the children started cutting wood and planting crops and farm plowing and stuff. So they did grow a little food after they got big enough to do it. And my grandmother walked out of that big house and never set foot in it again. And you could see it from the property she cut off and built her house.
Pretty close, really.
It's pretty close, maybe 400 feet away, maybe 400 feet away. And she also never mentioned that person's name.
Mhm.
And her assessment was probably not strong enough. The person was probably worse than she thought she was. And so it was a good thing that she moved out and left the house for Dewey. So whatever happened to it, I don't know, but it wasn't much left by the time he died.
We went and stayed in the big house.
Yeah, Leslie bought it
Okay.
when it was up for sale.
That was one of the sons.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Leslie's
one of the 6 children.
yeah, the next to the oldest. The other one didn't ever quite make it. So Leslie bought the house so that they could keep it. But by then, pretty much was down to the big house and maybe 10 acres.
So she sold all the land?
I think that's what Dewey did. Is he
Oh,
sold
he
the
sold
land.
it.
So
Yeah.
that's what they lived on, probably selling it.
Can you elaborate about what was wrong with her? Like,
What?
You have to just tell her what she did.
Oh, she was very cruel. and scary and mean. And she had twins, Christine and Eugene. They were twins, and she hated them.
Wow.
I mean, she despised them and hated them, and she beat them all the time.
Wow.
Nobody turned anybody in for child abuse in those days. It was family business, and you stayed out of family business. But it was right there, 400 feet away.
Yeah, and soon as any of them could get away, they left. Um, Eugene and Leslie left. They got a baseball scholarship to college, and they left, and they never went back. And then Orrin went and joined the army, and went over to Europe and never came back. And Christine got married real soon and moved out and never came back. And Shirley, I mean, Shirley got married at 17 so she could get out. So by the time that was the only person left was Dewey and her and Dewey Mack. And Dewey Mack was drunk most of the time.
He was the bullet. She adored Dooley Mack. She adored the first son. And he grew up with that guilt of terrible. It was
Yeah.
terrible. But
So he ended up there dying there
alcohol.
of alcohol. Yeah.
But I want to tell you that I got to meet Jean and Leslie and Christina, and I corresponded till she died. They were wonderful human beings, and I don't know how they got to be so wonderful. They were also extremely good looking. They were like handsome, and Jean and Leslie were these baseball stars. Can I tell them about Leslie?
Yeah.
Okay. So Leslie got to be real famous. And when we visited Kelsey in Ohio, we went to visit Leslie. And he was getting real old and he wanted us to visit him. But the story he told us is that they got to go to college with these scholarships for 1 year. But when the scholarship, 2 years?
2 years.
When that was over, there was no more college for them. And their father found them a job with the sheriff. And Leslie's job was to work with a chain gang. And he had to go with this chain gang. They gave him a training which involved a gun and a whip and
No whip.
a stick
Just
or something.
Stick. Yeah.
And he so those workers were chained in a truck and he rode in the back with them, like there was a wall, a cage or something. They couldn't touch him. But they hated him, obviously, because his job was to manage the chain gang. And they said really awful things about him while he was right there because they couldn't touch each other. And you think about how he grew up and what his job was, and that he didn't get to finish school. And so while he was riding along in that truck, what he came up with was, how come these boys have to do this and I don't? How come I'm so lucky? And when he grew up, he went to school and got his degree in social work, and he started what became the juvenile justice system in Columbus, Ohio. And he got this huge piece of property donated, and it was like a juvenile hall, only there was not a fence. There were no locks. And all the boys there, they had horses for them. They all learned to ride. They all learned to play tennis. They ran track. They'd sit out and have bonfires. He treated them like human beings. And he did wonderful work. When we were there, he took us into to the Capitol building there, Capitol, and all of the people we saw in there, senators and whoever, they all knew him by his first name and loved him. And there were all kinds of wonderful newspaper articles that he kept about his life. But he kept this amazing positive spirit. And when I learned about his background, I couldn't imagine it, but I really didn't know him long enough to love him. But both he and Jean were people you just wanted to love immediately. And
Yeah, yeah.
Christina barely knew her by sight, but she was a lovely human being to know.
Yeah,
So it was kind of amazing how that turned out. But
yeah.
those were cousins for Javan. They're like a decade older than Javan. So he played with the younger ones whom I never met. But the family just lived with this terrible grief 400 feet away and nobody knowing what to do about it. The children would come up to play at Jemima's house, right?
Not very often.
But you went down there one time or so to the house.
I went a few times, but I was always very careful not to get in a room with her.
Yeah. So that's kind of one of those sad stories, and kind of an amazing lesson of how some people make the best out of whatever they have.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh. Yeah. So, I tried to start a little part myself, handwritten here, and we didn't know the Sedberry's name. So, is this backwards for you?
No, it's the right way.
Yeah. So I
A little
put on there.
close. Yeah,
Is it too close?
a little bit. Yeah, right
Yeah.
there. Perfect.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah. So we'll see how we can match up with with what you have at some point. So I went down to Uncle George and Eliza, and so we've not even got yet to here's Daniel, they called him, which was the Scottish pronunciation for Daniel, and Enda, and
Mhm.
then they got divorced. He worked some
He built substations, electricity substations.
yeah, so he divorced Enda, which was a really hard thing for everybody. And then she remarried and he remarried, I think. So that's Javan's grandmother.
Mm.
And then Eugene and Nettie didn't have children, and we've told you about Dewey and Myrtle. So one thing you haven't talked yet is that Javan actually had two great grandmothers. He was lucky enough that Daniel's mother. So
Yeah, a great grandmother Stewart.
yeah.
Yeah, she had inherited disc degeneration. The Stewarts, this Stewart family that I'm part of had that, and I have it. I have degenerative disc disease inherited from the Stewart line. And my grandmother had that, and she was bedridden for like my whole life. I never saw her walk. She was always in bed because her back had deteriorated to the point that it had no strength. And so Gene, we call him Gene, Eugene Stewart stayed with her at the farmhouse. So we'll talk about that next time. But the Sedberry Road, which evidently the Sedberry's named, was on the other side of Sedberry Road was a big farm that's a Stewart's own. And so I'll tell you about that next time.
All right.
They were
Wow.
neighbors.
They were neighbors across, just on the west side of Sedberry Road was this big Stewart farm, and on the east side was this big Bostic farm.
Big house. That's really great. Thank you, Javan.
Okay.
I'm glad to know these. I don't think I've ever sat still and heard these stories before.
not too much of an opportunity to tell anyone that stories.
Yeah, I'm so glad
This
we're,
is a story of let's say at least the oldest. I mean, I could have been 6 to 12. I mean, this is like 6 years out of my life, but I knew all of these people, and it's amazing for me this last week to go back there, and it's like as clear as day. I'm standing there at the foot of the bed. My great grandmother Sedgwick Bostic is lying there on a down mattress that she made, and she's dying. And we were all gathered around, and I was at the right side of the post, the bedpost, right there watching her. And that was a long time ago. That was 70 years ago. And I'm telling you this like it just happened. It's just amazing that you can remember things like that I'm kind of amazed.
yeah, I could see that when you were telling the stories that you were like right there running over that log and
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
Honestly sounded like watching Little House on the Prairie.
That's
Like it's
exactly
like
what I was.
real.
Yeah,
It's like some storybook that you're reading out of.
yeah. They ate all those wild critters along with the ones they grew.
oh yeah, as long as yeah, Uncle George had a gun or
Uh-huh.
two, and he shot some animals.
Possums?
I don't know if they ate possum or not. I ate possum, but I don't know. They probably did.
That was the other side of the family?
The Reed side,
Yeah.
no, the Cherokee side, had a lot of squirrel and rabbit and possum.
Javan,
Yeah.
I found a photo of, oop, can you hear me? There we are.
Yeah, yeah.
Let me see if I can pull it up.
Oh, that's Andy.
That's his
That's my
grandmother.
grandmother.
It's his grandmother.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where'd you find that? That's exactly like she looks. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, Ancestry had it on somebody else had shared it, so I'll do a research and see where it came from.
Oh, yeah.
cool. If you want to send me that, email me that, I would love it. I'll put it on our post.
That's her.
Yeah.
We do have a box of pictures that
So here's another one. This is with it was added by you. Says it was added by me, so it's got to be Holly. So this is with Kitty when she was a baby.
oh. Yes, isn't it
Oh,
sweet?
Oh,
Yeah, you know that picture.
yeah.
And your mother.
Yeah. That's cute.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it'll be fun to tell you about when Kitty and her sister were the most beautiful two girls in the county.
sounds like you guys are from kind of like the big families.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I could see why you hold on to that land. I could see the emotional connection that you must feel.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to sell it, but it's been a the last this last it's the last piece of land that they homesteaded, and it's the last piece that's left. It
Mhm.
has never been transferred title.
If we could find, Javan has a cousin who has a daughter named Caroline. She must be about your age, Heather and Holly, I guess. I don't know, but we've lost track of, we don't know how to find her because she lives back there.
Mm.
But we don't know really what to do. We haven't heard from David for a long time, so we think he might have died. The cousin.
Yeah, I remember David.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
The last time I heard from David is um he used to call me up and ask for money after my mother died because he didn't have anybody else to call. And sometimes I would send him a little money. And one time I decided to send him $100. He hadn't asked me. I thought I'd beat him to it. So I sent him $100. And he called me back and said, I can't believe you sent me $100. He said, I so appreciate it. It's so nice of you to do that. And I said, well, sure, I'm glad to do it. And he said, well, I really appreciate it. And so he hung up and I never heard from him again.
Wow,
That was it. That was the last I heard from him.
that's sad.
Ending though.
Hmm?
It was a good
It's a
ending.
good ending. It's a
Very
ending.
good. Yeah.
Good ending. Yeah, really good ending. Wow. Thank you, Lord, for letting me have that idea to do that.
Really.
Well, I had an extra $100, so I thought I'd do it.
Nice.
Who's that happy baby?
Yeah.
That baby. What?
Wow.
He really wants to touch the screen.
I
Oh,
bet. I
that
bet
is
there's
just-
people on here.
Okay to touch it, but don't go into it.
She can see her grandma there.
yeah, she knows her Grammy.
She does. Holly, Kelsey, what do you guys call Holly? What's the nickname?
Noni.
No.
Noni and Nori.
Noni and Nori.
Also, we chose, she's gonna say no before she says anything else, so trying to
Apparently
help
not.
grandma,
Apparently,
help grandma out here.
oh my goodness.
And what's your name, Justin?
Papu.
Oh,
Papu.
Papu.
Papu. Of course it has poo in the name.
Exactly.
Where does that name come from?
What it? I think that's the
Big wedding.
Greek,
My big-
big fat Greek wedding. Yeah.
Oh,
The grandpa was Papu.
It was Papu and Yaya.
Yaya, and she
Yeah.
didn't want the Yaya.
I did want to be Yaya.
Well,
Stop it.
That's true. Your
No.
no knows better.
So remember the little cabins that you told us about up at Gold Beach? Those cabins that we could take our dogs and stay at?
Uh-huh.
So we went and stayed the night there and we watched that movie there and we called Kelsey and the kids and we told them that's what we wanted to be called and we were laughing. Now as the morning we woke up and it was completely snowed in all the way to the beach. Anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
That's
wow.
neat.
So it was a very memorable trip.
Oh, and they had a big fireplace
The
with
dogs
a,
were totally freaked out about staying.
oh, and wasn't that you'd have a big fireplace?
Yes.
Cozy. It's
Nice.
good to be snowed in, huh?
Yeah, it was lovely. We didn't even know we were until we opened the blinds in the morning.
Oh,
Mm.
wow.
Anyway, I will answer to anything Nori says.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Call me
good.
It's not late for dinner. Yeah.
You remember the story about you asked me what I wanted Kelsey to call me, and I said, the great old and wise one.
Yeah. You and Penelope have the best names. Grandmother Penelope. Right? Yeah. Things that are easy to pronounce. It's fair. To be fair.
And you told me that. I mean, months later, I said, Holly, I was joking.
That's so cute.
Oh my goodness. Well, Kelsey wanted to be called Crystal Rose Lipstick.
That's
Yes.
right. Oh, I
You two deserved each other.
Yeah, we did.
Who's ever actually respected that besides them, to be fair?
Oh, she like it was so evident that you had thought about it for a long time because we said, "What do you wish your name was?" And there it was, Crystal Rose Lipstick. It's right there on her
You didn't
lips.
even think about it.
Waiting for
Already
somebody
had
to
a
ask
plan.
what my stripper name was going to be when I was an adult. I
And you
hope this is still being recorded, so later we know about my stripper name.
That's right. I am still recording because this still counts as family history right now.
Oh,
That is the good family history. I use that on all of my OnlyFans accounts.
your only fan accounts.
There was that game where you took the name of your first dog and the street you first lived on for
Oh
your
yeah.
name. And mine was Quizzy Lorenzo, which I thought was pretty good.
What Lorenzo?
Quizzy.
Josie School.
Lorenzo.
What?
Josie School would have been mine.
Not so good.
That's cool.
Buttermilk.
Whoa.
I don't know the street I first lived on, Mom.
Well, it's Chapel Drive. Let's see, your very first street. Oh my gosh. Oh, it's still what is it? It's in Portland.
What?
Hooch Street.
Yeah, that's it. It's
That's
Cooch.
right. And what was our cat? Was it Damon?
Oh, we had Damon and Daphne.
Damon and Daphne
Daphne
Cooch.
Cooch.
Daphne Cooch, obviously.
Daphne Cooch is hilarious.
The Santa Paula house was on Chapel.
Greenwood Drive.
That's right, Greenwood Tribe.
So
Greenwood.
you could have been Daphne Greenwood or
I don't know.
Did we have a dog?
Daphne Hooch is-
Yeah,
yeah, we
Yeah.
did. Arlo.
No, yeah, we had Arlo, but we also have that little Cocker Spaniel, Joe Cocker was our
Joe
Cocker
Cocker.
Spaniel.
That's right.
Remember him? Joe Cocker.
Cocker Greenwood.
Yeah. Daphne Cooch.
It was
Yeah,
Greenwood, right?
Daphne hung in there a long
Greenwood
I
time.
like Cocker Greenwood.
Oh, I don't even recognize your house. Now I recognize Kelsey's house. I didn't know where she was.
Oh yeah.
Look
You're
different.
talking
He's
about
in
my
the
house?
playroom.
Yeah, your house.
Yeah, that's the playroom now.
Oh.
Baby.
Because
Oh.
somebody has taken over our whole lives.
Yeah. You mean the living room is now a big giant playroom?
That front living room, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's where you were. Okay.
It's the
Yeah.
easiest thing to fence off from the rest of the
That's
house
right. That makes
for when you're locking children in prison.
sense.
And Nori likes to stand and shake the bars.
Oh, so
Yeah.
how's it working for you to go back to work, Kelsey? Has she been
Well,
okay?
I did it. I'm done with my first week.
Oh my gosh, just the first week. Wow.
It was
And
pretty
Nori's
good.
almost a year old.
I know.
Did she
2 more
Mom's
weeks.
pretty smart getting all that maternity leave.
did you still have the same babysitter that when she was little? Great, that seemed to work out real well.
Yeah, she loves Isabel.
Oh, good.
Works out nicely. And she has a good time playing with Junie.
Who's
Mhm.
Junie?
The other little girl that she watches, she's like
Oh,
almost 18 months.
okay. Well, that's nice. There's another little one.
Yeah, it's a free tutor too because Junie speaks full sentences.
Uh-huh. Oh,
Sweet.
yeah. They love somebody a little bit older.
Yeah.
And how are you feeling, Kelsey?
I puked today.
Mm.
I don't know if this all needs to be recorded, but
I'm gonna stop recording.